Welcome to the Fox River Trail. Good morning, everyone. I am once again at the corner of Scott Street and Souwanas Trail in the village of Algonquin, Illinois. This trip that I'm going to do today is on the Fox River Trail. The Fox River Trail starts here at mile marker 0, and we are going to go 38.4 miles south to Oswego, Illinois. So this one's going to be a long one today. Took a little logistics to get worked out because there's no way I'm going to be able to do an 80-mile round trip, so I had to get my brother involved. Thank you. And he is going to do some of the driving to come pick me up because I'm not going to be able to make it all the way back up.
Clear.
Looks like a well-oiled machine there. So right at this intersection, they have a map here, which is useful. Okay, and we're off. We're headed south. Although I've been on this trail many times, this is the first time I'm actually riding it from beginning to end all at once. So, and I haven't made it to the southern portion of this trail at all this year. So hopefully I won't run into any detours or any big construction issues. But my plan is very similar to what it was with the Prairie Trail. Stop at the interesting stuff along the way, let you guys know anything that I find interesting about this trail. And then between this trail and the Prairie Trail video, I think that gives you guys enough info to determine whether or not it's worth packing up your bikes or e-bikes and headed to northern Illinois to give these trails a try. Let me tell you, after being on this trail many times, and trying the vast majority of the big trails in northern Illinois at this point, I will tell you that the Fox River Trail is indeed the best of all of these trails. It's paved almost the entire 38.4 miles, and it goes follows the Fox River, goes through some nice beautiful areas. And some of these towns, they really take the biking aspect of their town seriously. So just past mile marker 1, we're going to come across the Long Meadow Parkway. This whole area is new, and I'm not sure if the road's open or not. Okay, the first stop here on this ride heading south would be Fox River Shores. I've seen many people put boats in the water right here. Fox River Shores has a restroom. They have garbage cans. They have covered picnic tables. Lots of people fish here. So roughly 3.5 miles in, we come to this area with what my grandson calls the broken bridge.
Yeah. Do you see that bridge?
Uh-huh.
This bridge is broken.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, we have to fix it.
Looks like they have this whole parking lot fenced off for construction, which the last time I was on this trail, there was no fencing up. But I see a lot of people will stop here just because it's a cool site by the river. People fish here, and you know, it's got a decent view. So this is one of the spots that's worth stopping at. Just past the broken bridge here on Main Street is Main Street Bicycles. So if you ever come across an issue with your bike while you're riding the trail, this is a decent place to stop. I've dealt with these people a couple times before. They're really cool, and they also had no issues working on my Rad Power e-bike. Let's see what's going on inside. If you're on the Fox River Trail and in need of a bike repair, this is definitely a good spot to come. The people are really nice. They have no problems working on your e-bike. And they've helped me out of a jam a couple times. So total thumbs up to this place, Main Street Bicycles in Carpentersville, Illinois. Also, if you were to buy a Rad Power bike, if you live in this area, you have the option to have that bike shipped directly here. I think it's for $199, and then they'll fully assemble it for you and get it all up and running, and then all you gotta do is come here to pick it up. So that's definitely a nice addition to their list of services at Main Street Bicycles. Okay, I'm at the corner of the Fox River Trail where it crosses Barrington Avenue in East Dundee, Illinois. Looks like that's near the intersection of Barrington Avenue and Meyer Street. Once you get into East Dundee, you have access to a variety of restaurants and bars. For example, this is DC Cobb's here. DC Cobb's has 3 locations. This is their newest location. They also have a location in Woodstock, Illinois, right off the Woodstock Square, and they have one in McHenry right by the Riverwalk. If you're a fan of burgers, DC Cobb's has, I believe, 20 of them. You could also sign up for their burger passport, which you could purchase, and then once you've tried all 20 burgers, you get a $1 discount with each of those. Then you get a hoodie. So keep that in mind. If you're into burgers, DC Cobb's is definitely one of the best in this area. You should also note, if you're trying to cut back on red meat, you could also substitute chicken or turkey burger as an option, and both of those I've tried, and both of those are really good. So just keep that in mind. So for this area here, I'm just going to do a little loop around it so you could see, because there's a lot of options here for, like I said, for eating and drinking. So, and it's awesome that this is right on the trail. So it's one of the things that makes the Fox River Trail really great. This is the depot in the village of East Dundee. When it's open, you have access to a restroom. Unfortunately, in my experience, it's closed the vast majority of the time I'm on this trail. So I'm standing in front of Duke's Blues and Barbecue. This is personally one of my favorite places on the Fox River Trail. Even when I am not going to eat, it's just awesome to come past here and listen to the music when they're open and smell the food. You can actually smell the food right now. So this is with my strongest recommendation. If you're on the Fox River Trail and you're looking for something to eat, come here. They have very nice people. The food is fantastic. The music is awesome. And it's right on the trail, so you really can't go wrong with that. They have some outdoor seating here. Also, usually the picnic tables that are all set up here, looks like some of them are in use. They have some sort of event going on here. Okay, so I just passed Duke's Blues and Barbecue. I'm just gonna do a loop right here to ride on the other side so you guys can kind of get an idea of what's on the other side of this. Okay, so now we're heading south again. I did that loop just so you guys could get an idea of what's available to you here. Man, I'm smelling that Duke's Blues and Barbecue. One of my favorite smells. Just a little down the trail from Duke's, we'll hit the intersection of the trail and Higgins Road, Route 72. There's a Dairy Queen here. On a hot day, it could be very busy with lots of people in line and lots of people eating their ice cream. But it's definitely an awesome thing to have right next to the bike trail. There's also a Vans frozen custard on that side. So I pulled off the trail just to take this little connector and bridge across the Fox River to South End Park. So if you were in need of a restroom and you're on this section of the trail, this is your best bet. So the restrooms are in that building up there right by the playground. You have a good view of the river here. Okay, so right at mile marker number 7, we reach I-90, which breaks off to its own trail, and you're pretty close to Voyagers Landing Forest Preserve, and then Tyler Creek Forest Preserve, and then you'll pass Judson University on the way. There is trail parking here at I-90, though currently there's no restrooms here. Just a little further south, there's a park or a forest preserve or something. It's the last time I went down this road, it was under construction and the restroom was no longer there. So keep that in mind. Otherwise, this is a good place to start. If I want to ride down to Fabian Windmill, which is a place we're going to pass a little later, this is one of my normal starting points, and I'll just ride from 90 to the windmill and then back here. So I forgot to mention that I do have a ride that goes all the way to crossing that bridge at I-90 to Tyler Creek Forest Preserve. So if you are interested in checking out that ride, go ahead and click that info card above. Okay, this is Trout Park River's Edge. Yeah, it is still completely closed off. So this is where you would have access to a restroom previously. Hopefully they put one back there. This section of trail was closed off earlier this year. They replaced the trail, as you could probably tell. It's nice, it's wide, it's flat, it's new. So this is basically a 90-year brick road segment in Elgin here. Instead of riding up there, I'm just going to insert footage where I have ridden there before. I want to save my battery because I'm going to be doing at least 50 miles today. But basically you'd ride right up. At the top there's a street, you turn around and ride back down. Once you enter Elgin, you'll come across Veterans Memorial Park, which is right by Gail Borden Public Library, which is over this way. Let's take a moment to recognize Old Glory. There's not much of a breeze, but standing proud nonetheless. POW MIA, not forgotten, never forget. I've reached Walton Island in Elgin. It's one of my favorite places on the Fox River Trail. It's very scenic. Be aware that this island floods. When we first explored the Fox River Trail in early 2000 or spring of 2000, this whole island was closed because it was flooded. At the southernmost end of Walton Island, there's a couple spots to look out. The other one's over there. So the Fox River Trail continues to the right under the two bridges. But again, this area does flood now and then. So when that happens, you have to go up this ramp here and then actually cross the two streets instead of going under them on this side. As I've stated many times, I'm a big fan of small business right on bike trails. So this is no exception. I skipped breakfast this morning, although I probably shouldn't have. So I've been hungry since I started. And ooh, this is gonna be really good from the taco truck behind me. Well, that really hit the spot. Now I got a full belly. This area in Elgin's really nice. They got a big park up here. We're just passing mile marker 10. You can see some Metro trains parked back over there. Oh, they must have something going on in the park. During Christmas, they have this entire area all lit up. It's very nice. Over here, they have a place to lock your bikes. They have air for your tires. They have a bench there, garbage can. Okay, so after you get past downtown Elgin, we'll get to a major intersection between two major Illinois trails. If we go to the right here, we're going to continue south on the Fox River Trail. If we go left here, we're going to be on the Elgin branch of the Illinois Prairie Path. So, and here's a map here. Started right around here. We are here. The trail ends way down here, so we still got a ways to go. So this area is all brand new with a brand new tunnel. If you've been following my channel, you've seen some of the construction on this. It took a while for them to get this done. It was delayed by COVID, but now that it's there, we don't have to detour onto a couple side streets, which was the plan before. So I don't know what they're going to do with this right here. Last time I was on this, I was hoping that it would be done soon. I don't know if they're putting a restroom here or what. That's probably what they should put, since there really is no restroom through the entire Elgin section of the ride. They should definitely put one somewhere. But as you can see, they planted a bunch of trees, so there's going to be more shade here in the future. which is very nice. The previous detour on this had you coming down this side street here and then crossing these tracks and then continuing down the trail. Now it's nice that we have a dedicated trail to get here without having to cross the tracks. As you can see back there, nice little set of hills and curves. So that's fun. So this area here was recently revamped. There was a detour here for a bunch of last year. And now they got the couple of sections of trail that they needed done. So that's good. Trail improvements are always good. This has got a really tight turn on it. So you're gonna want to slow down. It's like a 180. So then the trail continues this way now. Which means you could go under, which means you could go under, I think it's State Street. You could go under it instead of having to cross it, which is always preferred. Okay, the trail here is not yet complete, but I just take this little dirt path here to hop on that, and then we'll continue over this way. There's a dam here. As is tradition, when you're by a dam, take all the dam pictures you want. Okay, we just switched sides of the river. Now we're on the west side of the river here instead of the east side of the river. And this red-winged blackbirds must be a thing because I've seen several of these signs along these trails. I wonder how aggressive their behavior can be to necessitate all the signs that I see.
Well, it's apparently a thing.
And I think it was that bird. I saw it attack a woman before me, and I was like, oh my god, I would scream too if it attacked me, and literally 30 seconds later it attacked me while I was walking here.
So it looks like this park, I just passed some bike tools. They have shaded areas to eat or take a break. They have a playground here, and most importantly a restroom. So for those keeping score, this is the first restroom you come across after you leave, if you cross the river before to go to South End Park. Otherwise, Fox River Shores would have been the bathroom before that. So they definitely could stick another one somewhere in Elgin. Just past the park, you'll come across a trolley museum. Right when you get past the houses with all the train decorations, there's this little area here with a picnic table that's perfect for a little shaded break. Okay, we're coming up on Stearns Road here. This is the bridge that'll eventually take you to that James Pate Phillips State Park. Okay, another trail intersection here. Continuing forward is the way we're going to continue for the Fox River Trail going south. If you make a right here on Riverbend Trail, you have options to go to a variety of different locations. I created a custom ride that starts at that James Pate Phillips State Park at the Bartlett Nature Center. You come across Stearns Road that we just passed, and then you'd make a right on the Riverbend Trail. You would ride on the west side of the river for a while down Randall Road Bike Trail and a couple others. Then you'd shoot back this way towards Stearns Road. If you're interested in seeing that ride, go ahead and click that info card above. So this whole area is pretty cool. You go on this bridge up to this little tiny island in front of us and then to another bridge. When you're headed south, I will warn you, you might be able to see way back there, there's a big uphill. So that big uphill that I'm gonna have to do is a big downhill coming the other way. We're not gonna be doing that, but that is a huge downhill. All right, at the very top of that hill, you have access to this forest preserve, Tekakwitha Woods Forest Preserve. We're in St. Charles, Illinois now, apparently. There's a restroom over here you could see, and they also have trail parking. So picnic table under the shade, that's all really good too. So at this point on the Fox River Trail, we're right next to Weber Road. The dedicated trail stops at this point, and we have to share the road on Weber Road for a little bit before we get our trail back. And this way going down, it's south, it's a downhill, and on the way back north, it's an uphill. Oh, sorry.
We wanted to be in your movie.
Oh, did you? So I'm not really a fan of having to share the road with cars unless there's a dedicated bike lane. This has no dedicated bike lane. So we're just kind of, hoping that we don't get hit by a car. So this area is only 35 miles per hour, and going south, it's a big downhill. So I'm just coasting all the way down. Right now I'm doing 22 miles an hour just coasting. It's the hill back up that really sucks, but fortunately for you guys, we're not going to have to do that because this ride is going to end in Oswego. Right when you hit Fox River Bluff East, we get the trail back, although it seems there's a lot of people who just would rather ride on the road than ride on this section of trail. It is a little bumpy and could use some TLC. Okay, so we've made it to Redgate Road and the bridge. You can see St. Charles Water Tower here. If you were to continue, this route here will take you to Fox River Bluff West. If you are interested in seeing what that ride looks like, go ahead and click the info card above. So past Red Gate Road, we again are in a situation where we're going to share the trail or share the road with cars, but this is just a side street, so there's no real issues here. Okay, so once we come out of the woods, we're in a position where we're going to have to share the road again. I believe the name of the street is 3rd Avenue. There's a couple little turns, and then we're going to make it down to a park. So that hill back there was a pretty big one. I got up to 28 miles an hour just coasting, so be aware of that. Make sure your brakes are good. Once we hit the bottom here, we're back at the river. We got some the Fox River Queen and the St. Charles Belle too. This area here is really beautiful. Oh Lord. That wasn't very nice. I hope I got that recorded. I wasn't looking where the camera was aiming. Over here we have a miniature golf place. That's pretty cool. Ride right past it. Again, you don't want to fall in the water here. Probably not a good idea. Hello. Looks like you could rent this area for special occasions. Looks like it might be a wedding. This is Fox Cycle on the Fox River. It was dedicated in 2008. It's made completely of bike parts. There's bike frames, there's pedals. I see gears. I see little tires for eyes, a little seat for the nose. This is one of my favorite things on the Fox River Trail. And the Fox just overlooks the Fox River here. I'm 21.7 miles into the ride. Now some of that is incidental, going across the river to show you guys the restroom, that kind of stuff. So I'm not exactly on mile marker 20 here yet. But there is still a huge interest in e-bikes. This ride alone, I've probably been stopped about 10 different times. Pretty much every time I stop to take a picture or a video, I'm getting stopped by somebody who has questions about my bike. Because the ride's so long today, I'm totally set up for touring. So I have extra water, I have my cooler bag filled with water, I brought an extra battery with, I got my front GoPro here. For the TimeWarp, I got the GoPro I'm holding. So I'm totally set up for touring, so I'm definitely not inconspicuous at all. So people totally coming up asking me questions about e-bikes. There's a tremendous amount of interest still. Okay, so at this point on the trail, if we stay on the trail, we're going to hit a staircase. If you have a light bike and don't mind walking it up the stairs, then continue on the right side here. If you have a heavier e-bike like I do and want to avoid the stairs at all costs, we just got to follow a little maze right through here, and then we're going to be able to avoid the staircase completely. Downtown St. Charles, Illinois. So the signage right here is definitely not that great, but because I've ridden this trail before, I know where to go. So basically across the street, across North Avenue, or I guess they call it Main Street here, Route 64, by where those bicyclists are, we're gonna head right over there. This whole area seems to be pretty bike friendly. Right over here, you have access to a couple restaurants and the ability to park your bike, lock it up, and then eat right outside. So you can keep an eye on your bike. Might not matter with a cheap bicycle, but when you start getting into the more expensive e-bikes, you might not want to let that out of your sight. Seen a lot of tandem bicycles today, a lot more than normal. I mean, I think I'm up to about a dozen tandems. People having fun, enjoying the trail. We're just hitting mile marker 21 here. So just before mile marker 21, I saw an air pump and some bike tools, well, which could come in useful if you need to tighten something up. This spot here in St. Charles is one of those where it's private property on both sides and the trail cuts right through. Really nice houses. This is another major intersection between trails. If we go left here up this hill, we're going to be on the Illinois Prairie Path. So it looks like we're right here. So this is the Geneva Spur that'll take you all the way to Wheaton, and then you could hit the main branch and then, or the main stem, and you can go all the way down to like Forest Park or Maywood. So one of the great things about the Fox River Trail, other than its length and the fact that it's mostly paved and goes by beautiful areas on the river, is you cross a variety of other trails. So we've already passed the Elgin branch of the Prairie Path. Now this is the Geneva branch. A little further up, there's even a couple more. So you could really mix and match your rides. You don't have to stay on the Fox River Trail. You could turn off on this one right here and have an adventure heading east. That building behind me has restrooms, so be aware of that. Be aware that we just went through Island Park. Island Park floods. There was an instance, I think it was last May, I had intended to do a ride starting at the windmill and working my way north, but I couldn't get very far because Island Park was flooded. Welcome to the Fabian Windmill in Geneva, Illinois. This is one of my favorite stopping points on the Fox River Trail. Rides that I normally do would be like I-90 down to the Fabian Windmill here. I could also start a ride from here and then make it down to Oswego. Normally, I wouldn't ride this ride all in one shot because I would need to get back to my car with the bike rack, but since my brother's helping me out, thanks, I'm able to do a ride like this to make a full and complete video on the Fox River Trail. Since I'm at the windmill, I wanted to point out, again, this entire area, you encounter lots of photographers taking pictures, all sorts of special occasions, weddings and stuff. Looks like they got an entire wedding party here to take pictures by the windmill. Okay, so when you're at Fabian Windmill and you're continuing south on the Fox River Trail, it's at this point where you have a choice to make. We could go this way and head south, or we can go this way and make our way south because it's at this point where the Fox River Trail runs on both sides of the river. I think it's only for like 4 or 5 miles or so. I'll put the actual total up on the screen. But it's nice to be able to have a choice, and it's one of the reasons why I like starting or using the Fabian Windmill as a starting point, because I can ride this way all the way down to Oswego and then start making my way back up, and once I hit Aurora or wherever the other end of this is, it'll come right back up this way, so I don't have to, it's not a complete backtrack, so I'm spending some time on a different portion of trail to gain different scenery. So we're going to cross the bridge here at the Fox River and start making our way south. So after the first bridge, you're on a little island. Previously, there used to be a causeway where you'd cross the water on a causeway this way and it would connect up to the trail. But at some point later in the year last year, they built this bridge here and then got rid of the causeway completely. So we're gonna end up crossing the bridge right here and then hang a left and start making our way south. So I'm at mile marker 24 on the Fox River Trail. It's at this point where you can access the West Fabian Parkway Trail. I actually use that trail as part of my West River loop. I put an info card in this video a little earlier for that, so if you're interested in that, just go ahead and watch that video. So right when you get into Batavia, there's this cool area that I like to ride on every time I'm down here. Unfortunately, I don't have access to it because they have some sort of carnival and tent set up and all that. Normally I could ride all the way down over there and get good views of the Fox River and then make my way back before heading on the trail. So we're at mile marker 25, if you're able to see it down there. The trail's going to continue going this way. While we're here, it looks like they have another one of these map setups. No maps to take with you though. Bike racks, which of course are important, and they have a set of bike tools and a pump here, so that's always good to see. Also, if you wanted to make it back to the windmill from this point, you could go back the same way I came from, or you could just cut right across here and then just start heading this way. And that'll take you right back to the windmill. But for now, I am going to continue making my way south. I should point out that the trail here in Batavia goes right past the McDonald's, which is super important because I was thirsty and it's almost 95 degrees out right now. I gotta say, this whole area in Batavia is pretty awesome. And it's one of the reasons you guys should grab your bike and come out to the Fox River Trail in northern Illinois. Because between this and the Prairie Trail, you have yourself at least a 3-day weekend worth of rides that are pretty awesome and mostly paved. So keep that in mind. Coming up on mile marker 26. I haven't been this south on the Fox River Trail all year. I've been spending a lot of time exploring new trails and figuring out where to go in other locations in Illinois and also in Wisconsin. I wanted to note, it's at this point on the trail where it no longer rides on both sides. So I come up this way on the way down, and when I hit Oswego, I come all the way back up to this point. But rather than go on the underpass and staying on the west side, I come up here, cross the street, go all the way down and into the park over there, and then work my way back north again on the east side. It's one of the many reasons to like the Fox River Trail is you have options. Nice of those guys to let me through. Back there, there was trail parking. They also had tools and an air pump. So just one of many places you could start and stop a ride on the Fox River Trail. As soon as we got into Aurora, I'm greeted by sounds like classical music on the other side of the river here. Can't really see anything with all this in the way. That's probably live. So we're in Aurora, Illinois. The little section we just passed is something that I've actually never ridden on before. Every time I've come down here previously, we had to take a detour, go out to the street, and then connect back up there by the Hollywood Casino. So always nice to see finished construction here. This is a really cool looking bridge. So it says that there's an event tonight and the bridge is closed to the general public at 3. So it's 2:40 p.m. so I have a little time. So I'm just gonna cross and cross right back because frankly, this bridge is too cool to not cross. So as I was pulling away, I realized they have one side of the bridge for pedestrians and then one side for bicycles. So, and it's 10-mile-per-hour speed limit on the bridge. Yeah, this is very cool. That's definitely live music on that side by that pavilion. And this is a really cool bridge. I'm a big fan of bridges that have areas to sit and relax. In the case of scenic areas, I'm a big fan when they pop the bridge out a little in a spot or two, like they did right here. I'm sure it's gonna be a little hard to tell on the camera, but that way I could stand here and take all the pictures I want and I'm not in the lane of anybody coming past, so I'm not in their way. There are many bridges that I've been on where there wasn't room for people to stop and take pictures, but people stop and take pictures anyway. Welcome to Aurora, Illinois. Yeah, this whole downtown Aurora area is very cool. Lots of places to stop. Lots of picturesque stuff. So right when you come out of that area, right by Waubonsie Community College, the trail is on the road, but they've created a separate section for the trail, which is protected by a median, and then they painted it green, so it's really easy to determine you're on a bike path. So that's a nice way of doing it. So yeah, I'm a big fan of these green sections that are completely protected on both sides, dedicated lane for bike path. And not that Aurora is very big of a city, but you know, it's still a city. So it's nice that they have dedicated paths cutting right through, all to keep certain sections of the Fox River Trail connected into one almost 40-mile trail. Okay, so I wanted to show you guys basically a learn from my mistake situation. We came from this way on the green path. The green path continues this way, but then you're no longer on the Fox River Trail at that point. So the signage is not the best here, but you have to turn left at this street. I'll put up the street name. Looks like it's North Avenue. You have to turn left here to stay on the Fox River Trail. So now we're in Heard's Island Park in Aurora. This area, as you saw in the TimeWarp part, they don't allow cars in here. They have a parking lot, but at some point they must have closed it off to cars. Every single time I've been down here, it's been closed to cars. So I assume that they do not allow cars in this anymore. But the trail runs right through it, as you can see. So there's no issues with bicycles or people walking or jogging, gaining access. So this is the way the trail goes south. There's only 2 towns left. So after Aurora, we hit Montgomery. After Montgomery, we hit Oswego, and that's the end of the trail. So we're not incredibly far. Now we're right where the Fox River Trail meets the Virgil Gilman Trail. So technically speaking, the Fox River Trail continues this way, but in order for us to make it all the way to the end of the trail in Oswego, we actually need to cross to the other side of the river. So in order to do that, we have to go towards the Virgil Gilman Trail here, and then it's going to make its way up this way and back over that way to where the section of the trail continues. So technically it's on both sides, but it's not on both sides for very long like it was earlier in the ride. Okay, so we made it up the ramp that way. So at this point, this is the Virgil Gilman Trail. If I remember correctly, it starts, I think it's in Montgomery, and then makes its way all the way basically towards Route 47. So I have a video of the Virgil Gilman Trail. If you are interested in seeing that trail, click the info card above. Okay, so the signage is not the best back there, but we are back on the Fox River Trail. headed towards the end of the trail in Oswego. As you get closer to Montgomery, you'll run across this dam here. My recommendation is, once again, to take all the dam pictures you want. Once again, we end up on a on-road portion, but again, these are side streets, so it's not that big of a deal. But we're getting really close to the end of the trail. Once you enter Oswego, there's a Veterans Memorial here. Well, and there you have it. We're at mile marker 38.5, which is just 1/10 of a mile off from what the sign at mile marker 0 said. It said it was 38.4 miles. Here it says 38.5. So we're at the official end of the Fox River Trail. This is Hudson Crossing Park in Oswego, Illinois. Right here, it looks like you have access to a couple restaurants. The Tap House Grill. Well, thanks for joining me on this ride. I hope you guys like the Fox River Trail. Again, this is definitely one of the rides you could do if you decide to take a trip to Northern Illinois and throw your bikes or e-bikes on the back. It's definitely a trail worth checking out. Now all I have to do is start making my way north again. At some point I'll meet up with my brother, throw the bike on the rack, and start making my way home. Okay, well, I'm on my way back. I just wanted to show you guys what the opposite side looked like. So I'm at the point now where I came from this way, but instead of going back that way, I'm going to go up and then cross at this bridge right here. And then so that way I could ride the rest of the way all the way back to the windmill on the east side of the Fox River Trail, instead of like when we came down on the west side. So when you ride on the east side, you'll ride through the, I believe it's the Red Oak Nature Center. Nice and woodsy. There's some hills here. So it's a nice area to ride through. First time I was on the trail I missed it, but we eventually found the bathroom, so if you need access to a quick stop, there it is right there. So at this point, we're at another trail intersection here. If we continue this way, it's Fox River Trail, east side, heading north. If we go this way, this is the Illinois Prairie Path Geneva Spur, and then it'll continue. Looks like 6.2 miles to Aurora and 13.7 miles to Wheaton. And once you get to Wheaton, you could hop on the main stem and take that all the way through Villa Park and past that all the way to like Maywood. Okay, so we're back in Batavia here. Now, I'll give you a little pro tip for the Fox River Trail. The Fox River Trail goes this way, but it ends up at stairs. So you would have to bring your bike up the stairs in order to make it up and continue on the trail. So, there's a concert or something going on. So I cut through this bank parking lot to the sidewalk, and then I continue on that way, and then I regain the trail on the other side. So if you did take the stairs, you would come up down there. You'd have to get to this intersection and cross right here. So this road has been closed, I think, the entire time I've been riding since early last year. So this is the Fox River Trail ahead. So it's one of those share the road situations, but it's actually a lot easier because the road is closed. Okay, and since I'm going right past it, I'll show you. If you remember the carnival that we went right past earlier, we were still riding on the west side of the trail. Now we're on the east side of the trail, so we could cross this bridge and get right back to that carnival if we wanted to. And that's in Batavia. Okay, we're back at the Fabian windmill. So you guys got to see the entirety of the east side and the west side of the Fox River Trail. So let me know what you think. Put it in the comments below. You guys like this trail? Oh, I should note, for you e-bikers here, give me 1 second. This is, in fact, my longest single ride ever, 58.9 miles. And I did require 2 batteries in order to do that. But my bike was totally set up in touring mode to be able to do this. So I had that extra battery because my wife is not with me. So I used her battery, and now I'm back at the windmill. So hopefully my brother will be here soon. And that is it. I hope you guys enjoyed the Fox River Trail. Catch you on the next ride.